I am deep. In the deep water deep. I am heavy, drifting, sinking in the deep, and all my waters fire. At any event, I am thinking again of this angel I sensed the other day which I had mentioned elsewhere, and I have some further thoughts on it. Here a little recap. In my inner mind I had the sense of an angel. He said something to me with his mind, without clear words yet words inside. He said, if you remain in purity today yourself will believe it and its fullness will be real, of real substance, else you will, in your need for stature, take on the mask of the fullness of the false self, a contrived purity, a fullness that is a shell. And then I saw in my mind something like the skin or hide of a being who sheds the skin, changing the mask over and over, but this creature in this image gave the aspect of something reptilian, like a lizard. Now with this background one can call in the story from the Bible Aaron's staff or rod which swallowed up the rods of the Egyptian enchanters. We are told that Aaron, by way of Moses, threw down his rod and it turned into a serpent, and so did the sorcerers. Curiously, it does not say Aaron's serpent swallowed the serpents of the sorcerers, it writes, his rod swallowed their rods. It is as if we are invited to assume that we are still talking about the serpents, because how can a rod swallow a rod? But perhaps this assumption is hasty. And the other thing here is that the translation, serpent may or may not be exact. Some translations offer the term, dragons or monsters, with equal room. Now I am reconciling the words of the angel, which talks about fullness and shells or husks of things, to the verticality of a staff or a rod, and nearby, as suggested by the above story, something reptilian. So one wonders what reptilians have got to do with verticalities. So we must meet up three things: fullness of being or its opposite, a self as a husk, a vertical thing like a rod or staff, and a shape-shifting thing, something like a serpent. So remember the angel points to the mask of the fullness of the false self, a fullness that is a shell or a husk. Our true sense of self, a real awareness and feeling of realness of self, in our sense of purity, a feeling of being, this is a vertical thing in the spirit world. And when we borrow the Hebrew letters, we can say it may be presented by the letter Vav, or better yet, the letter Lamed, which is a sort of shepherd rod. This structure is inside us. Lamed represents here a full thing, a full being, our center self, the core of self that is touching high and low. Now because we are fallen beings and our sense of self is injured and false and peripheral, we live in the periphery of sense of self, our busy rapid thoughts of the organic brain, we live in the brain in our pathology, and this living as the husk of self is another rod, a false verticality, a false lamed as it were, and whenever the lamed is false in its trading with life, it is always enchanted, it is trespassing into verticality, and there is a serpentine or dragon-like or lizard if you would, quality implicit in them to touch worlds that they ought not, states of being, false states, a false verticality that pegs itself into the ground. We must each day feel our full self, and raise this feeling to conscious awareness, and press it out so in the natural world, our day-to-day things, because this very act touches reality better than the enchanted rods can touch reality, and the natural fullness always usurps the claims of reality of the false selves, because throwing down a rod as a serpent is a claiming of ownership over a domain, over a matrix, over a circumstance. The battle for truth is a battle for reality which is a battle for ownership which, at least in our little pocket of reality, is a battle of insistence. The one who insists can claim it, and the one who can feel his or herself deeply and purely, as though walking through a peaceful green forest, touching everything, this person insists the best.